Okay, so start with our sponsors. So the BYU Capstone Project with their director Cal Sorensen, they're always looking for company-sponsored engineering projects for senior student teams. I know they've done a lot of fantastic work in the past. I've seen a number of their projects. And it's great experience for the students, which is really what we're looking for here, right? BYU University Communications provided the refreshments and a number of other things. So the BYU store has provided some raffle prizes. The Marriott School for giving us the facilities, and the Utah Drupal Users Group, who's added a lot of support. This was the first time we tried to do this. I'm certain we messed up a number of different ways, but it all came together, so we're glad for that. BYU's Drupal community. So we have 2 Drupal user group meetings every month. The first Thursday from 1 to 3 in the library, we do a training and a question and answer. How many of that are here have attended those before? Not a lot. Not as many as there should be. It's really a great place to get your questions answered, to find out new stuff, to just interact with your colleagues. I'm going to go ahead and share a really quick story. I started with Drupal in 2009, and we had a project we were doing that I needed to be, well, that's a strong word. For aesthetic reasons, I wanted to hide the login link, the log out link if you were already logged in, right? So I had a logout link on the menu. I wanted it to disappear if you weren't logged in. And I couldn't get that to work. So I beat my head against that for a couple weeks. Came up with, I do programming, right? So I came up with a lot of really constructive, before I forget too, these slides will be made available. As far as I'm aware, we're going to make all the slides that we can available, right? So I've tried to, even when we were talking about things, I've tried to link things so that you can go back and click through the links later as well. Anyway, so I came to a Drupal user group meeting, and the way that they were handled before was there would be a presentation with some cool modules or things, and then at the very end there'd be time for questions. And so I waited till the very end. I don't remember at all what the presentations were that they were talking about, because I just had my one question that I needed to get answered. And as I was saying, I'm a developer, so I had come up with about 50 different ways, which were all incredibly complicated, to try and solve that solution. I tried half of them, and I couldn't get them to work right. Anyway, so I go to the meeting, I wait, get to the end, and I go up to ask a question, and I said, I just want to hide that logout link unless people are logged in. And he looked at me, the one guy looked at me, and he said, just use role per menu. And I said, that means nothing to me. I don't know what you're talking about. So, well, there's a module called role per menu. And I said, well, Drupal, if you're not logged in, you don't have a role. And he said, well, sure you do. You have anonymous. I said, but I can't get anonymous out of the database. He said, you just use role by menu, or role per menu, and it takes care of it. It just didn't make sense. He said, just go back and try it, and if you have a problem, call me. So I went and downloaded role per menu. I went into the configuration on the menu item, and now there was a little box that you picked the menu, or the role that you wanted for the menu to show up for, and anonymous was there. So it was a 2-minute solution for 2 weeks of hassle, right? That's the purpose behind the Drupal user groups. And for that point, that's the purpose behind every other technology user group on campus. There's a WordPress group starting. There's a Python group, Django group starting. If you're involved in those technologies at all, join the user group, right? Be part of the community, and you'll find the answers you want. So we have the meetings on, we have the regular training and question and answer on the first Thursday of each month. We have a luncheon discussion, which we call a chat and chow, or chow and chat, because we eat first. Chow and chat in the Common Center Commons on the third Thursday, which for those that have gone to those, there's questions the whole time, right? It's a good forum to just ask questions and find answers to things. Finally, there's there's ask.byu.edu, which is a question and answer forum, comes off of the web.byu.edu community. Oh, which, by the way, I skipped to the top. The Drupal group, right, there's a sign up there. There's a whole bunch of other resources on web.byu.edu if you're not looking yet. There's also the initiative right now. We're redoing the design for BYU, the look and feel. We'd love to have as many people as would like to be involved in that come join the discussion and help us make choices that everybody can benefit from.
And then to get on that, I think Joe Hadfield, posted on web.byu.edu. It's one of the most recent posts, I think, where you can go and sign up for which group. They have the 3 groups. They have the graphic design group, the engineering group, and the user experience group, I think. So you can join all 3 or just 1 or 2 of them if you want to get involved. I know I joined all 3 of them, but we started the design group. We've already started talking like, okay, what are the benefits of doing a header like this? Like, will everyone like that? How can we make it work for the most people that we can make it work for? And that's been a really great discussion because everyone that's gotten involved has been able to say what they think, and we've had lively discussions about that. And obviously there's different opinions, but I think that whole discussion has really benefited from having so many voices shared, which I think the same can happen for any of these user groups. That's why we really hope that throughout the training here today and tomorrow that you guys will ask questions, share your thoughts. Like, it doesn't have to be one person down here talking the whole time. So we'd love to hear from you throughout. I think I could say that for everybody's sessions, at least ours for sure. We'd love to have comments and discussions. And really, like, this training is going to be as helpful as you guys make it. So don't be quiet about your questions. And there aren't any stupid questions. If those of you who are like just barely getting into Drupal, you're super new, don't be afraid to ask, because we want to help you speed up your learning process. Like Sharon was saying, like, coming to these trainings takes a little bit of time, but you can learn a lot from them and benefit a lot from them, from meeting the people, from having discussions. Even if you don't have a question, learning how someone else did something in a different way, like, opens your perspective and makes you realize different ways of doing things. And that's what happened for me at the last meeting. I realized, oh my gosh, like, I think we could change our process a little bit. Like, we know a lot of Drupal stuff, but our process can still improve. You know, that's the benefit of having a user group like this. And then also, we are on Slack. There's a couple of channels that you can get involved in. I think we're gonna go on the next slide for that.
Here's the next slide. So,
But well, I guess we'll start here. The Drupal Utah Slack channel.
How many are unfamiliar with Slack? Okay, so let's explain that really quick. Do you guys remember Instant Messenger? Do we remember Instant Messenger?
Yeah, AOL.
Yeah.
So it's basically a team chat program where there can be chat groups for different topics. You can chat individuals. You can chat a few people at once.
And the history is all there. You can search back through the history.
So you don't have to search through your email to find what did we say about that last, you know, and it's just kind of an open communication.
Threaded, right? So things can go in order. And it's very live, real time, right? So if somebody's signed in, you can interact with them as quickly as they'll respond. If they're not logged in, you can send a message and they'll get back to you. I think one of the things that there's a bit of a love-hate relationship with Slack is there's an app for it, right, for your phone, and you'll get alerted when you get messages.
Unless
really
you turn alerts off.
Yeah.
But
it's nice because you can get those kind of two-way communications, but it's typed, right? I'm still one of those people that I like to call people to ask questions. I like to have emails or a Slack for for documentation. Don't have to call and ask the same question again.
When he forgets later.
Right.
Now I forget things like that too. So the Slack channel, we were thinking about this and we decided not to open up a BYU Drupal channel because we don't want to miss out on the other people in the community. And really this channel would be for discussing Drupal things, learning, collaborating, asking questions. So there's not really a reason to shut it off to only BYU people.
Well, and to that extent, how many people here right now are not from BYU? Right?
Yes, thank you guys for joining us. We're so glad to have you guys.
Making effort.
Seriously, we're really
especially
excited about
considering
it.
how awesome the parking is for visitors.
Yeah, we apologize for that. But anyway, so we've all joined the Drupal Utah Slack channel, and you can go to these slides and click that link, or go to web.byu.edu/group/Drupal. We have the links there as well. But on there, like, we've got a couple of channels. I think there's a Drupal 8 channel if you're interested in that. I started an awesome modules channel because modules are one of my favorite things about Drupal, just because they're awesome and you don't have to work for them. So I think they're great. So that's what we want to make sure that you guys all know about that, because that's a great resource. I've asked questions and had them answered every single time, basically. Or if the answer was that that's a complicated issue, you don't have an answer. But yeah, it's been really useful, so I would strongly encourage that.
Okay, so I mentioned 2009 I started with Drupal. We had been using a product that I've tried to not say the name again because it's PTSD. But anyway, there was a product we were using that was commercial, very expensive, and incredibly difficult to use. And so we kind of evaluated some other content management systems. There were a number of commercial ones we looked at. But we ended up with Drupal for these reasons, right? And the first was the most important. There was a very large active Drupal community on campus. Sorry, it's the French version, campus. Yeah. So there was a very large active Drupal community. Right?
You know, we figured Drupal.
There really was. At the time, there was a more active Drupal community than there is now. We want to change that. We want to get that back. But it's very flexible, right? I can do, you really can do pretty much anything with it. There was the very first Drupal training that I went to was a conference in New Orleans, and one of the sessions I went to, actually I guess it was 3 different sessions done by the same group, but they had taken the challenge to allocate 100 hours or less to a given project, and then recreate an existing website in Drupal, right? So they recreated Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Twitter was about 95% functional, right? Well, I shouldn't say functional. It worked. It just had about 95% of the functionality of Twitter at the time. YouTube was about 80%. All the videos worked, you could upload them and everything, but there were some more complicated access permissions that they didn't implement because of the 100-hour time constraint that they had. And then Facebook was about 60% at the time. But they had like the live, the active chat. You could do that, the post and the wall and your own pages. And they had a lot of stuff. It was really pretty impressive for 100 hours. But then they ended up saying, just because you can, doesn't mean you should, right? So anyway, so then there's also, so there's tons of modules, right? One of the first ones that we found was CAS login. Is everybody using CAS on campus? Anybody not using CAS? You're on campus? So does everybody know what CAS is? Right, if you're on campus, you use it to log in all the time, right? If you go to my BYU, stands for Central Authentication Server. It's an open source project. Anybody ever heard of a really small software project called, or a software company called Blizzard? Yeah. World of Warcraft? Couple people. So they use CAS for their logins. Over 100 million logins a month. It scales okay. Drupal community, the actual larger Drupal community is really friendly and very helpful. I've been to 3 Drupal cons now. I always come away having met people that can help me out with things, new perspectives, new modules, new information. It's always a really positive thing. Okay, so we wanted to have an idea of current campus content management systems. So I went because I work for OIT. I found the network guys and I got a list of current DNS BYU.edu domains. Okay. I checked 8,916 of them. I actually got over 50,000, but then I ran it through a little ping checker basically to see if port 80 was open, see if it was even a web server, right? Which isn't entirely the best way to make sure it's actually serving that web pages. But anyway,
we didn't want to click through every single one,
no,
so we decided this was a good option.
So we got it down to 8,900. I was looking through some of those recently. Some of those were printers that are responding on port 80, which is also not a great idea. But anyway, so here's what we got. Of the 8,960 on campus, 598 of them were Drupal, 452 WordPress, 1 Drupal and 1 Magento, 659 other, and then 7,205 not detected. I went through several of these. A lot of them were just static HTML. So the other, there's a number of .NET ones. But anyway, Drupal, at least from a managed content management system, is the largest one on campus, right? I can tell you that this isn't what we're hearing in the web community, but this is true, based on the numbers that I have. Okay, so what is Drupal? It's a framework, go ahead and hit them all. Content management system, and it's community, right? So how many here are editors, content editors? And developers? Sweet. Business analysts?
Project managers.
Project managers?
Oversee the project.
I'm seeing several people raising their hands for all of it, right? That's kind of how that works too. And that's one of the nice things about Drupal is that it can be that way, right? You can wear multiple hats. Sometimes you prefer not to, but it can be done. So what Drupal isn't? Well, really, again, the sky is the limit. You can do whatever you want with it. But just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? So a good example of that, is Rosalind here? So BYU Studies, they're still kind of deciding that, but they were trying to, there's a handful of CRMs, client relationship management or customer relationship management tools that integrate with Drupal or that are modules within Drupal. They all work pretty well. Actually, you know what, an even better example. Don't go back, but if we were to look at that list again and see WordPress was on there, what is WordPress?
Yeah,
it's a blog, right? Can it do other things? Yeah, as of 3.9, it actually supports pages, right? It used to be the case prior to 3.9 that in order to get a page, you had to create a blog entry and then add some code in so that it would detect that it was not a blog and to display on the page instead of just, as a part of your screen. And it worked, but it was more complicated than it should be. But if I'm now, does Drupal do blogs?
Yes.
Yes. Do they do blogs as well as WordPress? No. They're getting better, right? But it was never their focus, right? They were just giving you kind of a simpler tool. WordPress as a blog is phenomenal. If you're going to host your own, absolutely WordPress. Rob, looks like you want to disagree.
No, we're writing one of the things
yeah,
That's
you guys can just
no. I'd be interested in that. Personally, since I like to be able to customize things, like I'd want to be able to have like a tag cloud, and I'd want to be able to do this and all kinds of stuff. for me, I feel like I'm limited every time I want to add something in WordPress that isn't there. But I think the nice thing about WordPress is that there's so many widgets, like you don't have to add it, it's just there, and there's lots of basic
If it
things,
does
and it's
exactly
easy to
what you need
figure out.
to do, it's really not a bad tool, right? It comes out of the box with the WYSIWYG editor. They fixed that in Drupal 8, by the way, right? If you're using Drupal 8, you've got a WYSIWYG editor out of the box. I always thought that was kind of dumb that we didn't get there sooner, but that wasn't the point. Anyway, I'm a toolbox guy, right? I want as many tools in my toolbox as possible, and then I'll choose the one that works best. Okay.
All right.
Yep, go ahead.
So just for this schedule and everything, I wanted to let you guys know that you guys can go to the schedule and customize your own schedule, so you don't have to keep looking back and deciding which one you want to. If you want to do this, you can. You can go ahead and go to the schedule. If you click on any session, you can click Add to My Schedule if you're and if you're logged in, or you can log in and then do that, and then you can see your schedule. There's a link at the top of the schedule page that goes to it. But we wanted to announce that we will have sessions in this room. We'll have sessions up before and to our right now. If you go up the stairs, it's to your left, in 210, 220, and 230. We'll also have one session in 240 where there are computer labs, one of the sessions tomorrow. But we also have 2:30 in the here in the Tanner building is for collaboration, and we'll put the snacks in there. If you guys just want to, you guys get talking about something, you're like, I don't want to keep talking, I don't want to go to
There's
session.
whiteboard, it's
you
a
can go in
classroom,
there.
right? So it's got all the stuff in there. You're
So
welcome to take your laptops or whatever and
Great.
hook stuff up. And
You need to work on stuff, you can go in there.
It's meant to just be an extra room for you guys to do whatever you like to do responsibly.
And then for lunch isn't provided. We're planning on going to the Cannon Center. You can split off and go do your own lunch plans, whatever you feel like. If you come to Cannon Center, we'll just keep talking about whatever you guys want to talk about. So, and that's it. So.
Okay, so there are a couple other things really quick I wanted to do. So of the ones that are not from BYU, how many are looking for employees, looking to hire? Any? Okay, well, in any case,
do you want to have them introduce
it does
themselves?
happen. Okay. So at the last Drupal camp, they asked that, and there were about twice as many hands that went up as were looking for jobs, which is kind of cool, right? Drupal is a skill that does pay the bills. So is there anybody that's here that's not from BYU that just wanted to stand up and give a 30-second spiel about their company and what they do and when they're looking for employees, what they look for? No one
You
has
want
to,
to?
right? Yeah.
Or just talk about where you're from.
I'm David Wadley. I'm the lab master at Google School District.
Oh,
Cool.
welcome, David. I was the one that recommended. Yeah.
Reached out to me, let me know about this. I wish it was for yesterday. I have to be here. I've long felt that this was what I want to do.
Yeah, well, we're glad you're here now.
I'm thrilled to be here and be part of this. I like to echo the sentiment about the leading job for Google. Like Sherman said, it's one of the user groups came up to Salt Lake. Everybody there felt like was looking for somebody to hire. And they wanted to do a Google search. So where do we go to find people who are looking? I think this is where we go. There's a lot of work out there. We get into a school district, well, I am the only stuff, right?
The extraordinaire, I think, is your job title.
That's right.
Master extraordinaire.
Master webmaster. I did bring Greg Russ as one of our programmers. We'll be hoping to expand our user footprint. But I wouldn't agree to look at a school district for a web job. Turned out to be the perfect fit for me. I understand computers already built that. We were talking before we started, then you could probably make more money elsewhere. But there are a lot of perks for having a low stress school job.
Well, and oddly enough, school districts are reasonably family friendly too.
Very famous.
Yeah.
Can I talk about your thing and show the schedule?
But
And do what? Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead. And can we get the mic up to Tim? We do have a mic for in this room. We are recording most sessions so that if people couldn't make it or you want to come back to, you missed something, we'll be putting them online on the Drupal Camp site on each session page. Also, at least for my sessions, I'm going to put read more, learn more sections on the bottom of each of my sessions with tutorials and YouTube videos, anything that would be like if you wanted to learn more or you didn't quite get it or you just want to learn more about the subject, I'm going to put those resources in. I'll encourage the other speakers to do that for their sessions as well. So go ahead and remember to go back to the Drupal Camp site for more training later too.
Okay, my name's Glenn Thompson. I'm with a company called StorageCraft. We're out in Draper, just west of IKEA. And we have a Drupal site. If you go to storagecraft.com, we've just rebranded it with Drupal 8. It's multilingual, so you can take a look at that. We haven't done the whole project yet, just the kind of the front end pages. We do have someone on staff that's a BYU graduate from the computer science department. We're really happy with him and his contribution as well. So anyway, that's just about us. Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry, guys.
What did you want to do?
Anybody else? Yeah, Ken behind you, Rico. And then we'll go over there.
Welcome, Christian.
I used to work for a company called Commerce Guide. You might have heard of it. It goes Google Commerce. So I've been fairly involved in the Google community. I live up in Salt Lake. I work remotely. The company actually split. I work for the platform, but I was thinking I was a hosting company. There's all sorts of stuff. But I tried to say, well, sadly, my team just build our slot for Drupal developers. We still use Drupal to our accountability. But I actually just wanted to say that this is, I love Drupal, and I've also found it really rewarding the more I dig into it. I actually went to BYU a long time ago. I worked with the math lab. One of the guys I worked with there who worked in the IT department and also ended up in Drupal. His name is Frank Edmondson. He works up in Salt Lake. So, and we sort of ended up both in Drupal totally at random, and then got, saw each other with the user group later. I was like, we used to work for Jim Logan. Anyway, the community aspect is great, and professionally it is very rewarding. Sarah said it's totally right. Everyone up in Salt Lake is working for people. My previous employer worked with Austin. Something like 10 developers on staff now working the front end and back end guys running the events for the commerce site. There's just all sorts of opportunities. And like Sherman was saying, the framework level is really, your toolbox is vast. The more experience you get with all the different things you can accomplish. So there's never a point where you get to a point like you do with WordPress and say, okay, really, I cannot do this anymore. I need to switch. So definitely, if we have more job opportunities, I will communicate that. Like I said, that or not. I just wanted to sort of give a vote of confidence. I'm really excited to see this.
Welcome. Glad you could make it.
Awesome. Thanks, Christian.
That's kind of the benefit too of that Slack channel. There's going to be stuff like that on there, right? So if I've seen several job posts actually on the Slack channel, if people are looking, and I know we don't have a ton of students here. That's fine. But we're hoping that this can be kind of a jumping off point as well for students, right? To give them some skills. I'll go ahead and put Katria on the spot for just a second. Katria, you're a computer science major, right?
No, I'm not.
Okay, what's your major?
I started with English and then I went to psychology, English minor.
Right, very technical.
Took one programming class here at BYU. I did take I took some graphic design here and back in high school, but I'm not a CS major. I took one programming class and I hated it so much. But I love Drupal because for me it's like a perfect blend of design and programming and just being creative and building something. I think I'd go a little bit crazy if I had to do straight code all day long. But that's why for me, like, Drupal's good for me. I was studying psychology and realized that it was hard emotionally to help people like that. And I was like, well, I guess I could always be a web developer.
And she's enjoyed it. It's been a good thing for her, a good thing for us. All right, so the rest of today's schedule. 9:30 now, okay, I'm gonna put this out there too. As we find little things that maybe you guys would have appreciated some, I don't know, like a 15-minute gap or something between some of these. Feel free to let us know. We'll add it to our list of what to do better next year, right?
Please.
But so know that we're not, know that we're really not expecting to go the full time for any of these. And the focus of the camp is to help. So if you have questions, for example, the Can We Build It workshop that I'm doing after this one, I have no presentation. Nothing. No, that's not true. I did a single page. This is Can We Build It. Anyway, the point of that is to say, it's got to be interactive, right? It's scheduled for 2 hours.
So if you don't want to interact, come to mine. Just kidding. Now everyone's coming to mine.
Drupal, so if you've got questions about what to do in Drupal, where to start, what modules to use, you need to ask those questions, right? If Katrina, and she's going to do this, she's going to show a whole bunch of modules. If you want to know
something's
why,
going to go over your head, probably if you're new to Drupal, I'm going to skip something.
Right.
So raise your hand.
If
I
you
will try
want
to
to know
answer.
why she wants to use one of those modules, ask. Right? There may, and if you're in any of these sessions and you know of a better way to do it, right? Drupal is the epitome of skinning a cat. There is 1,000 different modules already out there to do exactly, do mostly what you're looking for, right?
And there's different ways.
Find that sweet spot of what works best. Okay, so.
We better.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've got a one-line title for these sessions, but there's no real indication about what things you're going to discuss. So I don't know which session to do.
Okay.
A little more of a
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
that is
that's,
an excellent
yeah,
question.
sure.
Debbie, do you have something else too, or is that? Okay.
Okay. So Beginner's Guide to Drupal, if you click on them, some of them have descriptions and some of them don't. I'm sorry about that. Some of them, I didn't know all the information or what, but Beginner's Guide to Drupal, we're going to talk about what Drupal is. We're going to talk about going through the administration pages, how to navigate through the site. If you're just using the site, someone else built it for you, you don't know how to get around. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how to tell if a module is reliable or not, how to find modules, how to troubleshoot, how to find issues for your module, how to, basic introduction of content types and fields. I think that's about it for that one. Can we build it workshop? Everyone's going to take a project. You guys are going to be like, okay, can we build it?
We'll brainstorm a list of different things that someone would like to see, and then we'll go from there, right? So depending on how much time we have and how complicated things are, we may get through several, or we may get to one. Or we may not. That's possible. Lunch, I'm not going to explain that one. Automated testing and continuous deployment. This has been a real big push in the industry, and we've been getting a big push right now lately in our department. Basically, it's the process of creating a site that you can test every time you put something new out, and if it passes all the tests, you make it live. Okay? Same time thing, John Lipinski. So John is a graphic designer by trade, but he is much more than that. He used to work for SAS, but not your SAS, the other SAS.
So he's a web developer
He's also
too.
a web developer, right? So he understands the intricacies of creating a theme that can actually be implemented, which is really nice.
But also this is an important subject because a lot of times in development you'll spend some of your time developing the site and then 3 times as long just making it look nice. So I think that's a really, really good subject.
That's going to be a fantastic session. I would, in fact, maybe I'll go to hit this later on. Accessibility?
Yeah, I presented on this at the WebFest, some of the basic tools to get you started. But we're going to walk through just more information about it. There's a lot of things that we don't know about how to be, have good accessibility, and we're just going to go through the technical / content editing side of how to make things more accessible.
Right.
SAS show and tell. Rob and Michael are super awesome. The last Drupal, one of the
We're
last
not just
Drupal
saying that
users.
because you volunteered to do a session. That's not
They
the
are
only reason.
super awesome. No, so when I mentioned that I realized we should probably change our process was sometimes we are really focused on using the modules that are there, and they've got a good focus on custom module development and building something to fit the need. And so they're really good at that. So they're presenting on stuff they've been doing with theming and module development and cool displays and things. Rosalind is going to be presenting about rules and how to get your data into them. She has had a particularly difficult project getting tons of rules set up, really complicated,
So,
getting data in there.
Just 1 second. Rules, for those
yeah.
who don't know, are basically action reaction kind of things, right? So this action happens on your website. This is what I want you to do. It's kind of a workflow tool.
So of those two, if you are more beginner, automated testing is more advanced. So a beginner track would be accessibility or save time. Show and tell, it could be more advanced.
It's going to be more moderate, medium to more technical.
And yeah, a lot of code. Rules is through the interface. So yeah. Yeah. That's good. Cool tools and modules. That would be a good one if you're pretty new to Drupal. We're just going to go through a ton of modules that I love for different reasons. Just lots of modules that are good in different areas. For project managers of Drupal sites, Joanne is really good at UX stuff, and she's worked with us and other developers and other clients on campus, and so she knows like a lot of things for planning projects and how to manage a Drupal project. So she's going to be talking about that. If you are overseeing a project or a website, that would be a good one. Sherman's going to talk about Drupal updating and troubleshooting. What to do when you are updating and you run into problems. How do you fix it? That kind of thing.
Or if you're just using the site.
Okay, how do I get, let's see.
What's that?
How do I scroll it down again? What did you do last
we're
time?
at the bottom.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So
and then
lightning session, we're just gonna, it's gonna be pretty much an open forum. We'll get people that are, have an interest in something. I know Kaz, for example, up there has got an interest in Drupal commerce. He may want to talk, he may want to talk Drupal commerce if anybody is interested.
Rob and Michael might want to talk about how they're making Drupal into WordPress.
Right.
Maybe,
Joe may want to say, hey, we're working on a calendar project, and if there's somebody that has any ideas we haven't heard from, or feel like you'd like to express something else, come talk to us, right?
Yeah, so that'll be general discussion. We'll propose ideas to talk about and break into groups and talk about them.
So that's
for today. We can do the same thing tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll do the same thing tomorrow. Make sure we go through them.
Thank you for asking for
Any
this.
further questions or anything else? Okay.
Yeah,
Well, again, thank you for coming.
Oh, we got one
Yeah.
question? Oh,
This
okay.
is John Bennett.
Thank
He
you.
works for the police. He knows what he's talking about.
Thank you. Thank you.
There you go.
Okay.
So other side note, if you're not going to go over to the Commons, well, actually, let's put it this way. So if you're a BYU employee, there's a deal at the Commons, Canon Commons, $5.25 for lunch, right? If you swipe your signature card. If there are people that want to take advantage of that, and you have cash, that's really easy to make that negotiation happen between somebody that's going over there. There are a number of places south, right? I'm just going to put a plug in for it, although they never give me anything for it, so it doesn't matter. But Thai Kitchen on 3rd South, if you're a big Thai fan, or a small Thai fan, or whatever size Thai fan you may be, they have a $6 lunch special, which is soup, an entree, and then a little appetizer thing. Their masaman is incredible. The Tonka guy is amazing. So anyway, we have an hour and a half planned for lunch, right? That was
So
part of that point.
You do have time to go off campus if you want to.
Feel free to grab anyone presenting and ask questions if you have questions, or if you, anybody that's here has automatically volunteered to talk with anybody else about Drupal, right? If you want to talk about something else, we can't say anything. But about Drupal, the collaboration will make a world of difference. Yeah, so if you guys want to take the next 5 or so minutes to make up your minds on which class, and if your beginner's guide is here, right? The other one's upstairs.
You know, if you wanted to interact.
Yeah, the collaboration part again.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you again for coming.
Yeah, thank you all so much.